So now we have Kali Linux installed, and we have basic information about the structure of Kali Linux, an overview of it, and we know how to use the terminal or the basic commands of the terminal. And in this lecture, we're gonna talk about how to install some really important options to the machine that we have, how to update it, and how to install a terminal that we're gonna be using in the future. So all of these tasks will be done using a command or a program called apt-get. Apt-get is a command that allows you to install programs or packages into your Kali machine. So let's have a look. The first thing we're going to do is install a package called VirtualBox Guest X11. Now, what this package contains a number of packages that just provide better integration between the guest machine and our host machine. It will also allow the guest machine to detect our drivers better, so it will give us if you have a different screen of a different resolution, it might be hard or difficult for Kali to detect it. So as you can see now, I'm using scaled mode on my screen. I'll be able to just support the full resolution. You'll also be able to support copy paste and other features, other useful features. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to run apt-get, which is our command, our program that allows us to install stuff. Install is the thing or that we want to tell apt-get to do. So we want to tell apt-get to install a package called VirtualBox Guest X11. So I'm just going to type in the command here. So again, apt-get is the program or the installer, and we're telling that program to install a package called VirtualBox Guest X11. So there's a lot of output here. Basically, these are all the packages related or that has to be installed with the requested package. So it's telling us it's going to take 48 megabytes. Do I want to do this? I'm going to say yes. And now it's installing, downloading and installing all the needed packages. I'm going to pause this and start it once it's over. Now, once this is done, I'm going to update the source list. So the way apt-get works is it has a list of sources that it checks with for all the programs or the available packages. So since we have a fresh install, the source list is probably not updated. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do apt-get, the same program, and I'm just going to tell it to update your sources and check if there is any new packages that needs to be installed. So this is done. This was all installed, and I'm going to do apt-get update. And it just updated everything. Now, the next command I'm going to run is I'm going to tell apt-get to upgrade anything that needs to be upgraded. So the first one was just to update the list of programs just to see if there is any updates. Now what we're going to run is we're going to actually tell it to download and install anything that needs to be updated. So I'm going to do apt-get upgrade. And as you can see now, these are all the packages that need to be upgraded, and they're going to take 102 megs of space. So I'm going to say, yes, please download them. And I'm going to pause this and restart it once everything is done. Okay, so now it's installing the packages that have been downloaded. And for Apache, which is a web server, there is an agreement that I need to agree with. So I'm just going down, all the way down. Now this is for SSL, which is a service. I'm going to set it to inetd instead of having it to run as a standalone. Now this is installing libc 6 and it's asking me if it should restart the services during installation. I'm going to say yes. Okay, so it's all done. And I'll do it again. I'll just do an apt-get update to make sure that everything is up to date, and apt-get upgrade. and everything is good. Right, so one last application that I'd like to install, and that's called Terminator. So same command, apt-get is the program that we use for installing stuff. Install, we're telling it that we want to install something, and we want to install an application called Terminator. Now Terminator is just a terminal, just like the one I'm using currently. The only cool thing about it, or the only difference, is that it allows you to split the screen into multiple screens, which is very useful in the future because we want to run a number of commands and see the results side by side. So instead of having like 3 or 4 terminal windows, we're just going to have one terminal window, and we'll be able to split the screen the way we want it. So let me show you what Terminator looks like. So if I just go in here and type in Terminator, and as you can see, I have the window here. I can just type in any command I want, the same way we were doing it, and I can split it, as you can see here, horizontally, or I can split it vertically any way that I want. So split horizontally, and then I can run 2 commands here. I can split this vertically and run more commands here, here, and there. Now you don't have to install this, but I use it because it's really easy and nice to use. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a restart, and then I'm going to configure my screen to full screen with full resolution. So again, your screen might just work out of the box. You can just go into full screen, but in my case, I'm going to restart, and because it just didn't work for me. And after the restart, I'm going to go into settings and fix my screen size. Let's log in first and then go into full screen. So I'm going to go on full screen. And as you can see, even without having to go into the settings, Kali was able to go into full screen with full resolution right here, instead of the resolution that I had before, because I was literally just scaling the window to fit. So right now I have full resolution on my screen, and that's because we installed the guest additions. Now if you went into full screen and it didn't work for you, it didn't resize to your full screen, and you have installed the guest additions, then go into the settings and go on displays right here, double click, and then you'll be able to select the resolution that you want to go into. Another thing that we noticed after the update, the application and places menus have disappeared, and we have an activities here. This is because GNOME has been updated as well. So we can see that if we press on the activities, you'll see the dock here. You can access the places by clicking on the files, so it's the same place. Instead of having a menu here for places, you have to go activities and then go on files. If you want to see the categories of the applications that you had before, you have to go on here on show applications, and if you go on all, and then you'll see the information gathering, vulnerabilities, web application, databases, and then you can select what you want. So it's literally just things have been moved around. Also, the desktops are different. So if we go on activities, we can switch between desktops right here from this menu instead of having them here on the status bar. Just small changes with this update.